Well, hi, my name is Gonzalo. I'm from Cartelera in Spain. How are you?
I'm good. We watched the premiere last night, so I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep and adrenaline. But it's always fun. It played well. So when you have a movie that's playing well, it keeps you going. You're excited to talk about it. It's like now I hadn't seen it before, so now I'm actually talking to you. It's the second day of press. Now I know the movie's actually good, so I feel better. You know?
It is. And I hope you are drinking a lot of coffee.
No, this is actually tea.
Oh,
Actually, yeah,
well,
yeah.
it's okay. Okay, let's go. Because this has to be so fast. So, my first question is pretty obvious because, as an African actor, how important is this to bring productions like this one to Africa?
One of the major reasons I wanted to do the film was that it deals with the poaching issue, which is very big in South Africa, the protection of wildlife, which is very close to my heart personally. I have a real love for South Africa. Any chance I get, I play South African characters, as I had the chance to do in this film. To be able to host like Idris and directors, incredible director, you know, this Icelandic Viking that we have on this movie, Baltasar, great character, great guy. In my own country, just a dream experience for me. And then you get to be on a game farm that would cost you thousands of dollars a night to go and, you know, and they pay you. I mean, come on.
It was. I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else. There was conversation in Atlanta, my own studio in Iceland, but for me, it had to be Africa. You know, because you needed to create a baseline that is realistic and because the movie is fairly simple in you know like where it plays, but it's the opportunity of digging into those things and playing with the camera and doing things that I wouldn't have been able to do if I wouldn't be in the real place. Let's put it that way. So it was only way I could make this movie.
It was amazing. The views there was just so satisfying. They were absolutely beautiful, and they couldn't get any better. Like there was this one mountain called Table Mountain where the clouds like just easily fall over like a tablecloth, kind of. That's why they call it Table Mountain. But I just loved seeing that every day, waking up, seeing that side of the mountain just so high and filming there in some of the desert locations where we were, seeing how actually the sand that we were standing on under it was a whole river bank. So it's like cool learning things from safari rides and stuff there, and just filming there was beautiful.
Well, I read that you actually took a lion to the set and it escaped. So I want you to explain me this because it's mind blowing.
Well, the thing is that it wasn't on set when it got loose. You know, it was in transition somewhere. So honestly I don't know too much about it. I just heard about it, but then we found out it was far away from the set. No one was in danger, and it was safely captured again. I think people get like very excited. But what was great about it is that the studio allowed us to, and it was done very safely to have a lion for references, so we could, and this came from, my conversation with Inarito, because I called him, and he was very generous about talking about his bear attack in Revenant, because that was, for me, the top level of VFX we had seen with an animal. So, and he said, if I would have had a bear on set just for references, I would have done it, just the fur, how the sun hits the lion, how it interacts with the nature. So I called the studio and said, I got to get a lion, and luckily they allowed me to have it, but it was only for references. It wasn't never on, because of choices and stuff. But also we needed to create our own lion. It needed to have a certain look, so it wouldn't have worked anyway. But yeah, that was the lion story.
Yeah, that's what I read. No, but you did actually a great job because visually it's impressive. So
thank you so much. And it was quite a challenge because we were shooting long takes, that made it very difficult for the VFX people, but I got the, frame store, the best people and Enric Prada, who's a fantastic visual effects supervisor, to work with me and, to look at how lions react in nature. Was all done from documentary footage, and so it would feel like any movement would feel natural. So we dug really deep into that.
So now I want you, because every time I have the chance to interview two actors at the same time, I love to ask them to describe me each other's characters, because yours is so easy.
So Nora is definitely the glue of the family. She's like very funny and like definitely comedic. And I feel like Mare, she has a lot going on. But Nora keeps her like smiling. And you can't help just to, be like, okay, Nora, like relax. So she's definitely the funny girl, daddy's girl, and a girl that you can't help but like love for sure.
Mare is someone who is still grieving from her mother passing away, sadly. And she also does not have the connection with her father as great because now her mother is gone. So she's kind of still trying to figure out what's her love for her father really. And then now when she is on this trip to South Africa, she is, she's having good times, but it's not like as fun as she thought it would be without her mother, sadly. And she loves her sister and she loves her father and she's protective over her sister, and she, whatever happens, she will always make sure that her sister's okay. But then when it comes to the family being attacked, she's now turning into her brave self, and she doesn't have the time now to be grieving of her mother now. She has the time to get into her right mind, to focus, and now save her family and get them out of here.
I wanted to ask you about Baltasar because while watching the movie, I think that you can actually see that it's a Baltasar movie. So how is it? I mean, the camera is always moving, there's a lot of action, etc. So how is it him on set? Is he very serious? Is he tough? Is he open-minded?
He's kind of both. I was saying he may well be the most talented director that I've worked with because it is a Baltasar movie, and yet he had never done this style before of like 7-minute takes on Steadicam. But I was asking him, last night actually, how did you do that? And he said, I understand the emotion of the character, the central character, because he acts as well. And he's like, I'm coming from there as I'm making the decisions I'm making. I've never heard a director speak that way. I was like, how did you know you'd be okay doing something? You one lens the whole movie? Like no coverage? It's like you're dead. You're committing to the pacing of this thing? Like pacing in a thriller, man, it's critical. And he's like, yeah, but somehow I'm in the head of the main character and how he's experiencing it. And I trust that. And he's a combination of like, he will listen, but he's very clear. He's very sort of alpha male energy that is also sensitive when it needs to be. It was really fun working with him.
So there is a rule in cinema, you probably know it, never work with kids or animals. In this movie, you do both.
Yeah.
So which was the hardest?
There's also a rule that if you work with one, you have to work with both. So it's like two minuses, it becomes a plus. It was first of all, it was a digital animal, so we got away from that. And there was one kid, but she was wonderful. So she was actually very professional and easy to work with,
How was it being with Idris? Because, you are Idris Elba's daughters in the movie. So how is it on set? Is he helpful? Is he funny? Is he serious?
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah, he's super, super funny. He had us laughing the whole time. We'd be in the car making jokes. Even his chef, he would make food for us, and it just would like make sure we got some. So he's very protective, very family oriented. So we're like, we all are family. We created like a bond that not every set has. So it was more than just like acting and working. Like this was actually a real family that we created.
So, well, the movie, for the audience, I think they can expect like a man fighting a beast. And this is actually what we can see, like with a lot of violence, with a lot of action. So in a deeper way, what can we expect as audience? What would you say to the audience in order to encourage them to go to the cinema and watch Beast?
Well, we haven't had a lot of movies in the cinema, for a while. And what I saw last night was people physically sitting on the edge of their seats, biting their nails, physically doing this when the screen. And it's not a lot of movies that do that. So I was encouraged. And so if you want to go and have that kind of experience with an audience where there's going to be physical responses, and this is definitely a movie to go and see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. And for you, which was the most attractive part of the story? Because you already told me that you loved the fact that it was Idris Elba movie with Baltasar and in your country. But in the story, which was the part that?
I think just the idea of playing a South African character, you know, being able to do that in a movie like this was attractive to me. The story itself, I mean, just that I could legitimately play, like a guy who actually can do this in the world with lions is this guy Kevin Richardson, the lion whisperer in South Africa. And my character is based on him. So I would say that part for sure.
And which was for you guys the hardest part of the movie? Because it's a very crazy movie.
I think the hardest part, I think at first at least, was imagining this guy with this gray or blue suit, whatever it was, acting like a lion and making these sounds. First I thought it was kind of like silly, but then I'm like, okay, I can do this. I had to really like not see this man and actually see a lion trying to attack me and my family. So we got it together, but at first I'm like, how is this about to work?
It was those very long takes that we did, and keeping those fresh and original. And Idris and I would just, you know, try and change up lines and change up sort of tones subtly for each other, just to keep the feeling of spontaneity. And the girls as well. It was a great challenge for me because I'd never done anything like that before, you know, to that degree.
I think in some ways the nights were really difficult because you don't have any light resources. You know, you don't have any light poles or anything that you can kind of create the light from. So and you had a lot of dark-skinned people, and it was just, and we were shooting 360, and so that was the challenge. Also the nights in Africa, surprisingly, it was steaming hot in the day, but it was freezing cold in the night. You know, so it was because we're there in the winter, luckily, because the summers are you know, too hot in the day. But that was a surprise. So the nights just were rough.
But the result is awesome. So
yeah.
They are telling me that it's a wrap. I have a lot of questions that I would love to ask you, but congratulations for the movie. It's so entertaining.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Os mováis, ¿de acuerdo?
¿A dónde ha ido?